1291. My wife's number, for those of you who wish to get with and understand the metabolic syndrome that is causing all of our diseases, is 646 510 6702. Once again, 646 510 6702. You can call her for not only the unicity and the book as well, if you wanted to deal with it, because her book, you can go to newlifeneardeath.com. And those of you, I wanted to remind those of you who did not receive your package from her, make sure you call her, because they've been slow to get the packages out, and a lot of people are not. I've been asking, where are their packages? Call Dr. Nalani, and she'll fast track that to you as soon as possible. The other thing too, I do metaphysical consultations. I still do the how do I say it without getting you in trouble?
Exemption.
Yeah, exemption forms. I
Exemption.
did exemption forms for those of the people who are living in those blue states that are, trying to force you to do A, B, and a third. But like I said, before you think about, dealing with Kamala, think about the mafia boss you want to deal with that's going to be able to help you to do what you need to do, and look at the history of both of them. I know they got something coming up. They got a
Debate.
coming up, and they're going to actually have people on there that's going to do everything they can to shut down the fact that she don't know what the hell she's talking about, that she's trying to tell you she's getting ready to run to be president to clean up the crap that she and Biden had created, which doesn't make any sense. If you're still in office, why don't you do it now? But again, that's me just looking at reason and logic and trying to impart that. But brother, once again, I thank you, as I thank brother King Simon. I just want to let you know that my son also is doing rehabilitation. Send some prayers out there for him, because of what they did to him. Waves that we see and the conductivity. What we talk about consciousness. Consciousness essentially is is water. If you understand, I can't explain it uh, down to the micro, but I can give you an idea. Everything that you're breathing is water. Everything, I keep telling you that the air you breathe is a form of qualified water. What you're looking at in your mind, you're looking through a lens that's filled with water. In other words, your eyes are actually a ball that contains water that's actually filtering through the spectrum to give you the sight that you are seeing right now. So everything is water. Water is the conveyor of consciousness. In fact, your brain is something like 83 to 85,
Right.
even up to 90% water.
Right.
So what you're looking at is this one drop of water now, the scientists have found, contains like something like 5 to 6 terabytes of information. If you want to break it down to dealing with computer language. But water is the medium through which the creator is represented as the mind. In other words, universal mind or cosmic mind, essentially. And when they talk about consciousness, the only way that consciousness can actually be conveyed is through a medium that can actually bear, or at least carry, the word or the intentions of the Most High into all of its creations. So what we look at as water, and we see in its liquid sense, or if it's iced over to become hard, or it is dealing as a vapor, all of it is water. But we only see another aspect of water. We only see the three aspects of water. We see it as ice, liquid, and gas. But we don't see it as the gas that's another refined form of it, which we breathe, which we call oxygen. So when you're dealing with water, water then becomes what is called the divine neurotransmitter of consciousness. So it's actually the neurotransmission of Earth. It's the neurotransmitter of Earth. It's Earth's neurotransmitter. So when Earth essentially communicates through to other plants or to its animals, it's communicating through a medium of water.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing and communicating, the only way that sound can actually be conveyed as we're dealing with that, it can't be conveyed in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that then? What is this medium here? This medium is another form of qualified water, which is what's vibrating. Where I'm vibrating from here to vibrate the sound wave patterns through the medium of the air, and you're picking it up basically through, an amplified form, which is your microphone.
Mm-hmm.
But the consciousness, when the presence of the Most High is to be everywhere at once,
Mm-hmm.
it's everywhere in the form of a qualified aspect of water.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it's so simplified to say that water is, we use the word water and water. I bathe in water, I drink water, and we don't think about water in its divine
Mhm.
volume, its divine.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned the different states of water because I have an interesting question. You talked about water being a solid, you talked about water being a liquid, you talked about water being a gas. Those are three states of water. There's so much research and there's so much information on the web now. And structured water is a hot topic right now in terms of
Right.
drinking water. So they're saying that structured water is the fourth state of water because within structured water, the cellular structure or molecular structure turns is the water is arranged in a crystalline form. So they're
Mhm.
saying structured water is the fourth state that is rarely talked about, but is now being talked about. So what do you think about that?
See, that's the thing now.
Mhm.
They're getting into metaphysics, and this is
Yes,
where they come into our realm.
yes,
And
yes.
what it is you're dealing with, they're pre-structuring it
Mm-hmm.
to deal with the crystalline matrix of your blood.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, your body, through your mind, you set up a vibratory pattern
Mm-hmm.
that then begins to qualify the water into the very crystalline form that you see them structuring. You
Mm-hmm.
structure the water into your body as you breathe in, and
Mm-hmm.
when the breathing goes in, and right up here, there are these different holes, these different patterns that you have within your skull, that's
Mm-hmm.
in your nasal, and as you breathe in, your consciousness is being qualified by how you are breathing in the water and qualifying it into the crystalline matrix based upon where your brain is. You see how close this is to your brain? Well,
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing is as you're breathing it in, your thought process,
Mm-hmm.
your attitude, your consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
everything that you think about,
Mm-hmm.
all of that is qualifying the air, which is water,
Mm-hmm.
into the crystalline matrix that just fills out what your thoughts are about in you.
Mm-hmm.
So what most people are not looking at is what the people today, science is now pre-qualifying the water for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not good in certain senses, but it's good when you want to use it in a therapeutic way.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what you want to do is now to become more conscious of your thoughts as you're breathing, which is why prana yoga is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with prana yoga, you're dealing with adjusting your thinking patterns so that the crystalline matrix now feeds a positive energy the way that Dr. Emoto tells you that you specifically think a specific thought or you talk a specific way into the water and you put a particular word on the outside and it changes the crystalline matrix to the consciousness that we created in
Mm-hmm.
water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the Akashic records is
With
water.
water. Yeah, you said that. Yes.
And most people have never looked at it that way. And I've been trying to tell people that's what it is. It is the memory of all of our consciousness from tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. But then the great flood washed it away.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole new consciousness was formed, a
Mm-hmm.
new crystalline consciousness based upon the particular area, the particular root race that came in to
Mm-hmm.
fit the pattern after that flood.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to understand is as you're breathing in, everything that you're dealing with is becoming connected to the neurotransmitters in your brain. And if you have a specific kind of aura
Mm-hmm.
and you're breathing in,
Mm-hmm.
you can qualify that organically. Or today, because of science, you
Mm-hmm.
can use the science to pre-qualify. But I don't want, see, I got to know how they are actually programming the water to become what kind of crystalline matrix, because every thought is a template. Every thought is a sigil. and it's created based upon your organic thinking. What was the thinking process that put together the particular organic matrix of what they're serving to us now? I
Definitely.
don't know what that is. And until I do my own analysis of that, I would not take that water until I did my vetting, because I don't trust these guys are coming at us. The
Mm,
devil, the demons, those who are, in the deep state,
mm.
those people are very smart. And
Indeed.
you cannot take anything they're doing for granted.
Indeed. Indeed.
Mhm.
Wow. Man. So I mean with water, I see you have on a shirt that has on the moon on it.
Mhm.
Now, I um I hear people talk about charging their water in the sun. What's the difference between charging your water in the sun and charging your water in the moon? How does
It
that affect the water?
one heats up, the other cools down.
Mm,
So when you're dealing with the sun, you're
mm,
charging up certain higher, more electrons.
mm,
You're causing a faster spin.
mm,
Now, if you have a particular programming for your water,
mm.
when you lay it out in the moon, it then solidifies around it. Okay, it becomes more, because if you notice that the moon is a cold light, it's not hot.
Yes.
You see, you could step into the shadows outside of the moon, and the shadow would be warmer than in the moonlight.
Mm,
So when
mm.
you put it into the moonlight, it's like freezing. It's like putting it into your freezer.
Freezing. Mm,
Whatever programming you're having there, it's setting it for you.
mm, mm. So earlier you mentioned yoga. My
Mhm.
question would be, it made me I just had a thought. It made me think. You always talk about how the air is water. So we're in traditional, we're used to when you say drink water, this is how you drink water.
Mhm.
So if I drink water like that and we're evolving and we're understanding who we are, if I meditate, is that another version of doing that? Because you're concentrating on the breath with meditation. So it's all about breathing with meditation. So is breathing the same thing as me drinking the water? It's just a different way of drinking water. Can we look at meditation as drinking water moving forward?
Well, it depends on if you're doing breath yoga, you're doing
Mhm.
prana yoga.
Well, meditation. Let's just say
Yeah, well,
meditation.
meditation, that would
Meditation.
be Raja yoga.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So you're dealing with different types of, or concentrations
Yeah.
of thought.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dealing with the liquid, which is a denser form,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just simply you maintaining the avatar and giving the avatar what it needs. Like a car needs oil, it needs gas, it needs certain things, certain fluids, because you take it in every now and then when you want your car to be run smoothly. You have to deal with a fluid check. Okay, and the car is almost like the human body. The human body has certain different densities of fluids in it that they call humors. And these humors go all the way from child into all the different densities. I forgot what they were called, but you're not supposed to even talk about those anymore. But your blood is water and is child, and there's all these different densities of water that have become qualified to make your machinery run better. So if you're drinking it, then you're dealing with another set of feeding that avatar. When you're breathing it, then there are subtle instruments in your body, more subtler instruments that are at work, that when you breathe in water, now you're qualifying it through, if you were to just look at your skull, you'll see you have, as your sinuses, they have little holes in there, the way that a flute has certain holes at certain places. So when you're breathing it in, you're qualifying it around your unique skull energy that you created, that you came in with, your consciousness, and you're breathing it in. And they've taken pictures of people who have been, say, mass murderers, and they've looked at their skulls to see if there's any kind of change or difference. And what people are not letting you look at, or not talking about, is the way that the sinuses are shaped and how they are formed. They all look alike, some look alike, but there's subtle differences in the
Mm-hmm.
way that these particular parts of your body are focused. So that's why when when they were doing certain tests, they
Mm-hmm.
would go all the way up into the nose,
Mm-hmm.
past that particular area there, and right behind that is your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So when you breathe in, you're breathing right into your brain.
Well, when you okay, okay, okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are different little stop gaps so that you don't get water all the way up in there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you're taking that energy and then it's being qualified through the sinuses and it's going into your brain to actually just be the record, the reverb or the echo of what you're thinking and who you are, your thoughts and so forth. You're just recycling who you are and becoming more and more entrenched in what it is your thoughts are giving to you and what you're giving out as your thoughts.
Indeed. You know what would probably be an interesting experiment I just thought, Dr. Valentine. You know, Emoto talked about talking to the water. I wonder if Dr. Valentine, if imagine, you know how you cry. If we cry, say I have tears of joy, like my son just graduated from your university, and I'm so happy and proud that I'm crying tears of joy. And they store that water. Then if somebody in my family passed away and they stored that water, I want to know how
It would be
those
different.
waters would be
It would
extremely
be
different, right?
it would be
Yeah,
different. Yes,
yeah.
because it would come from two different places.
Hmm.
One would come from a place where the waters were tinctured by, say, endorphins or
Endorphins,
certain
yes.
types of, certain types of energies that come that give you joy, that give you that happy feeling.
Hmm.
So it was like it's like either you put vanilla in water or you put chocolate in water.
Hmm.
You're going to get two different types or qualities of the same water,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it would have been qualified by what was added to it, and that's why the emotions are so powerful. Your words and vibrations are so powerful, which
Hmm.
is why you qualify the waters in your own body to make you sick or well based upon the thought process you give to it.
Hmm.
And people who are depressed, people can actually make themselves sick
Hmm.
just by thinking a certain way and requalifying how that water is supposed to operate in your body to bring health. You can actually sabotage your own water supply if you want to.
Ooh, talk to him. Talk to him, Doc. People in the chat, they're interested. They said tears of joy taste better. They said it.
Well, but you see, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Tears are not good in certain
Yeah. Are
yeah,
you
because
serious?
it's a passion release. Right. If you were to look at tears,
Yeah.
especially people who are tortured, people who go through a lot in life are sad.
Hmm.
The one thing about people of colors, babies, that the European found when he went exploring in different places where black culture, high culture was that he never heard babies crying
Mm.
because our people knew that crying was another form of bleeding.
Mm.
If you were to
Wow.
take tears,
Wow.
especially tears of stress, and you were to do an investigation of its content, you will see all kinds of nutrients in there that
Mm.
are being sacrificed by the body. When you have somebody who's been very weak, who's been very sad, and they had some real crying, do you see them come out really strong after that?
Mm.
No,
No.
they're very weak. That's
Mm.
because they've bled a whole
Wow.
other form
That's
of
deep.
bleeding.
That's
Yeah.
deep. That's deep.
hmm So your ancestors, the great ones, the ones they never did that. They never cried, and the one thing they also never did, in certain instances, was to smile because if you laugh, you become addicted. There's a nerve here that attaches directly to your heart, and when you laugh a lot, you're true smiling and through laughter that hits a nerve and it brings up your energy, but you can get addicted to it. That's why the priests were very stoic. That's why men were very stoic back in those days. You never saw men, you never saw the real warriors smiling and laughing and so forth.
Hold up,
They never did.
Doc, hold up. This is totally different from
Mhm.
what they teach us in this new age. Let's
Right.
say this law of attraction era where they say smile all the time for
Mhm.
positivity purposes to train your body to be positive. You
Right.
should practice smiling all the time. You're saying that's not good. Smiling
No,
all the
because
time.
you
Wow.
create an
Oh,
addiction.
oh my God. Wow.
Well, what does the smiling do except release certain endorphins in your body or to cause you to deal with a certain release of chemistry,
Well, let me say this. All right, let me play devil's advocate. They
right?
say your genes are listening. Your genes
Mhm.
are like a genie. They call genes genie. So they're like, okay, what do we do now? How you tell them what to do is through your emotions. So if I'm smiling all day, Doc, the thought process would be I'm training my genes that things are good, things are happy, things are joyous. So this is how they're supposed to behave. So instead of the genes being in a depressed state, they act in a more open state. Does that make any sense?
Have you ever seen somebody who was at peace? The
Yes.
face?
They're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, they're not smiling.
They're not smiling, but there is something that you see
That
that
they're at peace. You can see it.
you can
Oh
see
shit!
it.
Nah,
Do we have to smile to show you
that's
that?
genius. No, they don't. They don't.
No,
They
they
don't
don't.
have to pretend. You just see it and you
You
feel it.
see it in them. You
Oh
see
shit!
they convey that
They convey.
because that's
Yes.
the most powerful thing that we have. We are always in conflict. We're always at war with something within
Yeah.
ourselves or outside ourselves. But when somebody no longer is at that particular battlefield and they have withdrawn from the battle and there is this peace that have come over them, you can sense it. They convey that. It radiates. Peace radiates just like war.
It does. It does.
You
It
see?
does.
So
Wow.
when you have an energy, say you were saying something having to do, give me the example once again that you said that you had that you were that say you, what was that example that you used just now?
Oh shit! I don't forgot.
Well, the energy was that you had to smile. They keep telling you smile,
I
smile.
said yes. Say I was happy because my son graduated from your university,
Right?
or I
Mhm.
was sad because a family member
Right.
died. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but when they're telling you, you say that all the new age people are telling you to smile.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to understand that the smile is usually a reaction to something that you have felt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're doing it just to do it, what you're doing is you're clicking a certain energy in you that after a while it doesn't have the same effect.
Mm,
It's an overuse of something.
mm,
Smiling constantly always causes a trigger of specific hormones.
mm.
After you've saturated yourself with them, how can you tell the difference anymore? That's why the great ones were very stoic. They didn't show any emotion.